Good afternoon. So I think for the first video I'm going to start making is with my new software here, is something that we're all using every day, and that's Excel and spreadsheets. So what I've done is I've downloaded two spreadsheets that you're probably using most often. One of them is a Blisdom roster with all of the PAI removed, and the second one will be a VPC roster for evaluations. So this first roster on my screen is a Blisdom Alpha roster, just the exact way it comes out of Excel once it's saved to your hard drive. Again, the only difference that I've done here is I've deleted the PAI for publication. One of the first things that you'll notice is the first two rows are merged cells. So this row is actually one giant cell that goes all the way across, as well as the second row, and again on the bottom. So the first thing that I do when I'm working with any type of rosters in Excel is I clean them up and convert them to a table. What this does is this puts them into a data sheet format, allows for sorting and filtering, and it also keeps the data constructed in rows and keeps the integrity of those rows intact. So that way, if you accidentally sort and filter without that being a table, you can actually realign data into the wrong row. So here's what I first do. First thing I do is I highlight the first two rows. I will right click, and I'm going to delete them. And I'm going to go to the bottom row, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to delete that row. And I'll go back up. And the other thing is I notice is that my columns are very wide. They're all to a very specific format based on the Excel. So I'm going to grab the caret here, select the full screen, the full worksheet. That's what this does. And then right up here, you'll notice how my cursor moves to that vertical line. I'm going to double click that. And what it does is it automatically shortens any column to the widest point. So you'll see that my grade column, my record status column have all been shrunk. Now record status is that wide because of the header here. So if I just make this record status and I do it again, now I've shrunk it even further. Okay, so let's make this a table. Click anywhere inside the table and then come to the top ribbon here and select Format as Table. And you can select any one of these types of designs. So I just always select the first one. It selects it. Excel automatically looks for the greatest width and length of the data sheet, and it is also recognized that my first row here are headers, so that is correct. I'm going to click OK. And now you'll see that I've got the formatting. Every other line is been shaded. Each column now has drop-down menus for sorting and filtering with all those options. I'm going to immediately save this roster. And so now with this, I can begin to do things like sort by office symbol alphabetically, or sort by assigned pass automatically. Or let's just say I want to find all the senior airmen. I can either select here, or I can actually just start typing. There's my senior airman, and there's the filtered data. So this is all very handy. It keeps the spreadsheet in a specific format. It protects the data and allows for sorting and filtering with ease. Now, if I've got my data sorted and filtered, to rid them, I can just go to Clear, and that'll remove all of the filters that have been applied to the data. This is especially useful if you save it, come back to it, you're trying to figure out what data's been filtered. It's especially important because you might think you've cleared all your filters, and you might not have. This is especially important if you're dealing with large alpha rosters, large rosters where it looks like all your data is there, but there was one hanging filter that's still there. So this is, you can do this with any of the Blisdom rosters. So again, we highlighted the worksheet, we shrunk all the columns, and then we went to Format, selected one, and it applied the table. So we'll save this. The next roster is a VPC roster. Again, this is exactly how it comes out of VPC. So I'm going to do the same thing here. You can elect to remove these fields, these rows, or you can leave them in. I'm going to show you a little bit of a trick. First thing I do need to do though is I need to remove this blank row here after the headers, because a table, it's going to look for all of the contiguous fields, meaning there can't be a break in the fields. So I definitely need to get rid of row 5 there, and I'm just going to delete it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little bit of an option here. I'm going to go to Format as Table, select that one. Now Excel noticed where my data was, but really my data begins on row 4, not on row 3. So I'm going to change this here. You'll see that it's looking from A3 to Q660. I'm going to change this to row 4. I'm going to select my table has headers, and I'm going to click OK. And boom, there I go. Everything's there. Now another thing about this worksheet is you'll see that it's got these text wrapped fields. What I will do is, and there's probably easier ways to do this, it's just the way that I do it, is I just make them all giant, spread all the data out. I shrunk those fields, and in the same thing with the columns you can do with rows. See how I grab that horizontal? And now I've got a nice, neat worksheet for evaluations. Look at that. Look how nice and neat that is. And now I can come up here and sort by days pending. Let's see, largest to smallest. Okay, and begin to look at the data and take care of the data, and work with it, delete columns, things like that. Very, very handy, keeps the data intact, and it lets you manipulate and display the data as you see fit. Okay, I think that should help. Please give me some feedback on this. I'm going to try and start building a library of these videos for all of our different systems, and if there's something that you'd like to know how to do, I'll be more than happy to research it, make a video, and post it out there.